In our latest installment of No Days Off, BCSN's Mark Kuntz sits down with the new man taking over for legendary St. John's basketball coach Ed Heinchel. Mike Schoen steps in to take over a program he's been around his entire life. Here's Mark with the Titans' newest coach.
15 years ago, Mike, you were walking these halls as a senior at St. John's. Did you think at one point you would be the varsity head coach for the Titans?
Absolutely not. No, I'm extremely excited and blessed to have the opportunity. But when I went off to the University of Dayton and was involved with some stuff there, and when I was done there, I came back to Toledo not necessarily knowing exactly what I was going to do next. And I worked some summer camps here with Coach, and a position to open up within the building. And someone kind of pushed me to apply for it, and I ended up getting it. And Coach said, "Hey, you can jump in and coach with me." So I was, 22 years old, and I was already back here coaching, working with guys. Definitely not what I expected. And then when I started, I was like, well, I'll do this for a couple of years and see how it goes. And now I'm on year 11, and like you said, that opportunity arose, and just excited and to get going and be the head coach.
How did that relationship with Coach Heinchel evolve from player to assistant coach and now successor?
Well, he and I have a very unique relationship. So his son Ted and I grew up together. Mm-hmm. We played together throughout grade school at St. Joan of Arc, and Coach actually coached us, I think 4th, 5th, 6th. So you can imagine Coach getting on us at those ages. And we were really good, really competitive. We played all over the city to Toledo. So he opened our eyes to the city of Toledo in basketball. And I think I was even a ball boy with Teddy when I was in 1st grade. And then I was able to play for Coach here. Ted, his son, was a groomsman in my wedding this past summer. And then when I came back to work with him, it was different. It was definitely, but we had built such a further relationship than just basketball because of all of our years together, that it was pretty seamless in my eyes. I don't know what he would say in that regard. And I just extremely appreciative that he allowed me to be a part of his program, and then as things went on, giving me more and more responsibility with that.
Obviously, Ed Heinchel, a huge impact on your life, but he's not the only coach who has impacted you. Who else has mentored you? Who else has influenced your coaching philosophy?
Well, my first coach that I was around was my dad, and my dad was a wrestler. He's a horrible basketball player, but he was an assistant for a guy named Mike Killen, who's a big St. John's supporter at St. Joan of Arc for my older brother. So I would just follow them around when I was a little kid, just being around the gym. And I think that was my first time where he was in the gym, where he showed me, the love of the game. And my dad was just ultra passionate about anything. So my first, learning was from him. I had a great junior high coach, Dan Rudsky, who's known across the CYO, coached at St. Joan of Arc for years. And he was a young coach who had a lot of energy and showed a lot of trust in me. And then I was fortunate enough to work for a guy by the name of Brian Gregory at the University of Dayton, who kind of showed me the professionalism and the professional side of coaching, and kind of taught me all the ins and outs of that, and just being a part of a larger program. And now he's done great things at Dayton and Georgia Tech and South Florida now.
As you went off to Dayton, was the master plan ever to come back to Toledo, or is it one of those things where you had to leave Toledo to understand how special this place is? Because that is a common phenomenon.
Yeah, I don't think I saw I've always been a homebody in a way, but I never had it in my mind I would be back for sure. I love the University of Dayton. It's a great place, and basketball is king down there, which is such a cool thing to be a part of. I never thought I would be back here. I think early on I had thoughts of potentially working at the college level, and I always had those thoughts even while I was here working. It was something that intrigued me. But St. John's is such a special place for me, and the Schoen name is a very well-known name in the St. John's community. I'm kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Schoen family, because most of the Schoens were wrestlers. Actually, all of the Schoens were wrestlers. So I'm the odd man out there because I played basketball. But St. John's is such a special place, and Coach said it when I started. He said, this is a great place, and it'll get your claws in you. So if you stick around for more than 2 or 3 years, you could be here for quite some time. And he was obviously right, and he knows as most. He was here for 45 of them.